Welcome to another edition of Resilient Living Podcast, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. Forgive the background noise. That is my vehicle. I'm on my work commute right now. This is my mobile studio. But let's get into it. This is episode 27, and this is Survival Preparedness Mindset. And this is something, before you guys hang up on me, before you guys give up and say, this guy's crazy, I'm not talking about survival preparedness where we're going to get bunkers full of rice and beans and guns and tinfoil hats and stuff like that. I want to talk about practical. I want to talk about things that we're already doing, right? The way this can make life easier, less stress in life, the way it can save you money, and the way it makes so much things easier in your life. And we're already doing it. We just haven't realized it. I never really realized it. So, yeah, let's talk about some practicality, some sensibility and practicality first here. So I want to move on to things you're already doing. I didn't know, put it for this way. If you guys have bought one of those little survival buckets, earthquake preparedness kit from it's one of those little gas shut-off tools and stuff like that, you're a prepper. So we're not talking about these people, these crazy people, in the boonies, going and building like crazy fortresses and stuff like that. We're looking for it to save us money. And we're looking to, we definitely want to protect ourselves. I'm a firm believer in the right to bear arms. Do I have a gun hanging over my front door? No, I'm not crazy, right? I do have weapons. I have a shotgun. I've got a 30-06 mainly for like hunting. The one thing I do want to get is a 22 long rifle. That would be actually ideal. I'm not crazy, but I do have things like that where, it feels good if the world went crazy. I do have a way to protect myself instead of watching my family or my community or somebody getting hurt, and understanding how to utilize those things. So, yeah, getting off that practicality, what are things that we're already doing? One of the things we're already doing is we're putting gas in our car. We're utilizing electricity. We're buying food. We're storing up money. Hopefully you're storing up money for in case we have another pandemic or something, which is pretty scary. I think they're saying we got this it mutated and now it's the one from India. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of it. Delta something. And this is crazy. We may end up on another lockdown. That would just be nuts. But you know what? What's really nice to know is that if you had enough money to last you for a year, 2 years, if you had a bunch of food stored up, if you had gas in case there was a gas shortage. So that's what I'm talking about, things that we're already doing and things we're already using. So let's talk about first the stresses, what I mentioned to you guys, with all this food and gas and everything like that. Could the gas stations ever be shut down? Actually happened in 1970s. Something happened, inflation happened, all kinds of different things, but there was gas lines and people had to go to the gas station and wait, like hundreds of people. It's happened once before. Am I saying to go buy a tanker of gas? No. What we're looking at is I have like 6 5-gallon gas tanks, and I have 6 5-gallon diesel gas tanks, and I keep those in rotation. Let's just say I have them from January, February, March, April, May, June, and July. I mark those down. I know I don't keep gas more than 6 months. So every 6 months, like and when it comes over to January, I'm sorry, what I'm working towards is 12 of these things, and they're marked for every month. So what I would do is I would start this off in July, and then what would happen is once we go through July and I get into January, I'm going to grab January's gas can. I'm going to pour that in my vehicle or in my work tool stuff, my machinery. I'm going to use that 5 gallons up. Gas will last up to 6 months. It won't go bad, but you don't want to keep it longer than that. I'll do the same with my diesel. Dump the 5 gallons into my truck, put them in the back. Next time I go fill up my gas, I'll fill up these 2 5-gallon tanks and then take it back. So it's things I'm already using, things I'm already doing. And we have some gas hikes coming up here in California, and I've already got about, 35 gallons of gas, and I bought it for like $3.50 a gallon. It's up to like $4.50 a gallon. So there's some times if we start to use preparedness stuff in our life, we actually save money. And if there was ever another gas line and I needed to go to my farm or I needed to go to the grocery store, guess what? I can use that gas and go once a week, make my rounds, and come back home. I have enough gas to probably make about 6-7 round trips, maybe even more, maybe 10, That'd get me by for like a little bit over a month. Of course, I wouldn't be able to go anywhere else, but I wouldn't need to go anywhere else because, as I said, I've got freezers, and I've got them stocked full of food. So if there's ever a food shortage, if there's ever a gas shortage, I'm all covered. But let's just pretend that that never even happened. I bought my meats and vegetables and things in my freezer in bulk. I get them a lot cheaper than I do buying them individually packaged, in small quantities. So what happens? How does this make my life easier and less stressful? I don't really need to go to the grocery store that often. I'm stocked up with barbecue sauce and ketchup and mayo and condiments and olives, coconut cream, and stuff like that. So all I do is I really go grocery shopping in my pantry and my freezer. Fresh produce, apples, bananas, celeries, and lettuces, salads, and things like that. I do need to go and to the grocery store. I try to go once a week, and that's it. But for the most part, I usually have everything set up, so I don't really have to leave my house. And I have so much abundance of everything that I never really run out. So one of the things I do is I run my life like a business. We're going to preach on this show. And running my food is kind of like running my house like a restaurant, meaning the other day, I'll bring this up. I made smoked ribs, right? And lo and behold, I went and bought the ribs, got everything all ready, thought that I had barbecue sauce. And what happened? We must have used it. I don't know. But it was my fault. Here's what I do. And it's not just about barbecue sauce. You do this with everything. If you're going to go buy one, and you can buy one for half off, the second one, or buy one, get one free, you buy the two. You always want to keep two. So my barbecue sauce is in my pantry. I've got 2 bottles, let's just say, which I just purchased. As soon as I pull the first one off, I take the one right behind it and I bring it forward. I know that I only have 1 can of barbecue sauce. And again, this can go with everything. I know that I get on my phone, I go to my notes, and I punch in, get barbecue sauce. So the next time I go to the grocery store, I'm going to buy 2 more bottles, and I'm going to place it, or 1, right behind that one. We're going to keep this in rotation. Now, I do this with everything. So it's things I'm always using. So the thing that I look at, hopefully you guys get the gist of that. You do that with your eggs, with your vegetables, if you can't, like carrots, things that are going to last a long time, oranges, apples, avocados. What I see a lot of people doing is they'll go and, if you really want to prepare yourself for if there was ever a hurricane, an earthquake, any kind of crazy natural disaster where, you'd be home for a week, 2 weeks. Look what happened in Texas when everything froze over. That was crazy. But if you had something set up, you wouldn't be stressed out about it, really. You could have a staycation, a vacation where you stay at home. Everything's iced over. It's down to like 5 degrees. You can't do anything anyways. Make some hot cocoa, some ribeye steaks or something, or some tacos, and enjoy yourself. But one of the things I see people do is, and these things are expensive, is they buy those Mylar bags or this, army food, pre-dehydrated stuff they're never going to use. So that's one of the biggest things I look at. You're a prepper if you went and done that. And if you're a smart person, you probably looked and said, boy, let's get instead of a 5-gallon bucket, let's get a good significant amount, so that we're really safe. And what happens when the expiration date goes? You throw them in the trash. You buy a bunch of canned stuff, pork, beans, and, whatever it is. This stuff, you look at chicken noodle soup, stuff you're not even using, and you end up having to give it away or throw it away. You just lost a bunch of money. Whereas what we're talking about is purchasing all the stuff that you're already eating that you know that you're going to use. For mine is like organic refried beans. We make bean and cheese tostadas, is one of our favorite things. It's low cost, heavy on nice good proteins, fills you up, very cheap and easy to make. I know that if I buy 2-3 cases of that stuff, we're going to go through it. So buy stuff that utilize things that you're already, utilize things that you're already using. And it's things that we're already doing. And it's very convenient. The other thing I have on my notes here is predictability. The one thing that we have in life is there's not very many things that are predictable. And having, like myself, set up for about 2.5, I'd say about 3 years of emergency supply money, when I look at that's in the bank, I could sit and do nothing. And literally, I could probably stretch it even further. But what I also have is, if I decide to, I have money to invest in. I got the gas tanks are full, right? In the financial area, we got plenty of food. We got plenty of all of our stuff. So it's predictable. Like, we can't predict when a tornado would hit, or a hurricane, or an earthquake, or a recession, or another pandemic, or another crazy flash freeze. Like happened in Texas. But what we can predict is how we respond and how we react to these things. things and things that we can do. I think it's very important to have fuels. I talked about a little bit on this, I think, before on propane. I like it in contrast to wood because it doesn't really go out. It doesn't go bad, and it's always readily available. There's no insects, termites eating it and stuff like that. So, yeah, it makes it very predictable and gives you a definite leg up on things. Now, we can go off on a whole bunch of different sectors here, but one of the most important things I think that comes to my mind is we had the electricity shut off about a month ago. I've got 2 chest freezers and a refrigerator out in my outside living areas, and they're packed to the gills with food. Now, if electricity goes off for more than 2 days, we've been hitting like 85, 95 degree weather, and it goes past 2 days, that stuff's going to start to thaw out. So what I've done is I actually purchased myself a generator, and I've used this for my business. Now, it's a tax write-off and everything like that, but I use it strictly for my business. But if I ever had to, and I've done it once or twice, I went down to my storage unit where I have all my work stuff, grabbed my generator, brought it up to the house. It's one of those Honda EU 2000s, I think. Where it's super quiet. It runs off like half a gallon of gas for like 8 hours. I plugged that thing in and I got lights. I got everything going on. I got my freezer, all my food that's preserved and saved. I can imagine, something as bad as what happened in Texas. Having the generator would definitely help. I think if you needed to heat your home or something like that. Like me, I live in a RV trailer in a tiny house, and if I put my heater on, that's all good with just the propane, but without electricity for the fans, the blowers to actually blow and circulate the heat is really not going to work. So many things that we can that you need to take in perspective and utilize them. As I said, I love the generator because the thing was about $1,100, but it's gotten me out of bad jams at jobs so many times, and also stacks functions where it helps me at home. So guys, that's the show. I want to introduce preparedness. I want to talk a little bit more about the survival preparedness and things like that. I think it's a big part of living resilient, living sustainable off the land. Definitely we never know what would happen if we were living on a farm way out in the middle of the country. You call 911. It could be, for an injury or something like that, or maybe even to get your power fixed. They're going to fix the city first, then you're probably most likely going to be second. So it's nice to have backup plans, nice to have a little bit of predictability, as I said. And I think this really helps us out as far as business goes, to basically to be prepared for the unseen things. You can get in a car accident. A lot of people, I spoke with an analyst who was one of my clients, and he says one of the biggest culprits for, what is that called, a bankruptcy, is actually illnesses like cancer and things like that, where people get sick and they can't make their payments, and then they have to file bankruptcy. That's I think he said is 50% of the bankruptcies are due to something like that. Why not be prepared and have many things set for yourself, like a safety net, just in case? And you know what? If it didn't ever happen, you're still good. You actually save some money. And in fact, you're grocery shopping in your own, in your your garage and your freezers and stuff like that. So guys, that's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe if I brought you guys any value. And as I always, you guys can check this out on Instagram. It's Resilientlpodcast. You guys can email me. It's resilientlpodcast@gmail.com. Everything's in the descriptions below. So guys, as I always say, go out there and have yourself a near life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire and human up, my friends.